LA is French for a tree-lined walk.
These are tulip trees, named for the green and yellow springtime flowers that resemble tulips. This memorable planting was named a New York City landmark in 2009, along with the library building and Fountain of Life. According to garden lore, the tulip trees planted here came from a single mother tree, which is the largest tree in the LA, and is just one of the thousands of trees across the landscape that are older than the garden itself.
The rest of the tulip trees were planted in 1905 under the direction of the garden's founding director, botanist and taxonomist Botanical Lord Britton.
Britton and his wife, Elizabeth Knight Britton, herself of the movement to create a grand botanical garden in New York City in the late 19th century. While on their honeymoon in London in 1888, they visited the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew. What they saw inspired them to lobby elected officials and civic leaders to create a public garden dedicated to science, education, and horticulture in New York.
The Britons were successful. In 1891, the New York State Legislature incorporated the New York Botanical Garden. Soon after, the couple selected this site, which featured a 50-acre old-growth forest surrounded by fields and pastures. In 1895, landscape architect Albert Fox, co-designer of Manhattan Central Park, created a master plan for the garden to allow for the planting of beautiful and diverse collections, while preserving the natural
More than 125 years after its founding, the garden's staff remain dedicated to preserving the natural and horticultural beauty of the landscape. They care for thousands of mature trees, plant hundreds of thousands of bulbs, annuals, and perennials, mow 75 acres of turf, and hedges to maintain this green oasis in the middle of New York City.
The garden is also a center for research and home to scientists and graduate students who are working to understand plant diversity and save the plants of the world. As they travel the globe, they might be collaborating with local partners in Brazil to preserve the rainforest, or recording the medicinal uses of plants in the South Pacific. Closer to home, they document native plant species in the Hudson Valley in Central Park. NYBG scientists have written hundreds of books, from field references to a handbook of poisonous plants used in hospital emergency rooms.
Many of our scientists work in the garden's Pfizer Plant Research Laboratory and the William and Linda Steer Herbarium. The Steer Herbarium is the second largest herbarium in the world. It houses approximately 8 million dried, pressed plant specimens, including some dating to the 1700s, which are used by scientists to identify new species and document where plants grow. Today, this area is called Twin Lakes. A century ago, people used to flock here to swim in summer and ice skate in winter. Today, birds flock here, especially water birds and seasonally migrating species. On Saturday mornings, you can join free bird watching tours. Garden visitors have spotted more than 200 species.
We're about to cross the Bronx River, originating in Westchester County and extending 23 miles to the East River. It is the city's only freshwater river. Once lined with factories and mills, it became very polluted. Now, thanks to the efforts of conservation organizations, the river is cleaner than it has been in centuries, and is once again home to a wonderful array of wildlife, from beavers to American eels.
Just downstream from here, the Bronx River cuts a dramatic gorge through the 50-acre Thane family forest, the largest surviving stand of uncut first-growth forest in New York City. Since its founding, the garden has preserved the forest in its natural state.